Hey guys, I want to talk about this deck here today. This deck I called Spirit Saved. This is a really good deck. You can see here there's a really nasty combo, right? Curse of Vitality and the Highborn Vampire. Alright, I'll read them to you. You guys can kind of figure out what it does. This combo, I gotta say, right off the bat, right? Got this from Nalthazar's page. And, he just does a great job of contributing to our community. So, hey, I want to throw out some love for him and just let you guys know that this came from his page. Alright, so, Curse of Vitality and Highborn Vampire, real nice together. This is what it does. Curse of Vitality says whenever your opponent loses life or is dealt damage, you gain 4 life. Okay, so you gain life. It says whenever you gain life, your opponent loses 1 life. That's pretty interesting, because this one here says whenever I gain, my opponent will lose 1 life. But then this one says, hey, whenever my opponent loses a life, I gain a life. You can kind of see where this is going, right? This is going to be a nice loop. Your opponent will take some damage. If you have this card down, you'll be able to gain 4 life. Because you gain 4 life, your opponent will lose 1 life. When he loses a life, it'll trigger this one. You'll gain 4. Alright? When you gain 4, it's going to trigger this one again. You'll trigger this, your opponent will lose 1 life. When they lose 1 life, you'll trigger this one. You'll gain 4 life. After that, your opponent will lose 1 because of this, right? So you can see there's a loop, right? It's being triggered repeatedly, and that's a really, really nasty combo. What we're going to try to do is build a deck around that combo, right? So this combo, as I mentioned, I got it from Nalthazar. Nalthazar's page does a lot of great stuff, and this is how I felt was the best way to build around that combo. You got some other cards here that are definitely going to help. Velomachus, the Lorehold. This is a really good card here. It says when this creature attacks, pick one of the first 4 different spell cards from your library, fetch that card, it gains X mana. X is equal to this creature's power, right? So we're going to be able to pull some spells out of the deck here. We have a kill spell that gives us some mana if we choose. Angel Fire Ignition, this is a great card. What I like about this is it gives you the +2/+2, which is a nice buff. You get Vigilance, so you can block. And you get that nice lifelink and haste, right? Those are really, really nice. Trample is good too, but that lifelink, haste, vigilance, the buff, those are great. And here's another one. Pick one of the first 4 different cards from your library that are not named Demonic Tutor. Fetch that card. That card gains X mana. You lose X life. X is the number of black gems, right? So this is a really good card that will help you fetch whatever you need. Okay, so that's kind of why I like those. Anyway, the whole point of this is be able to launch these 2. If you can get these 2 together, right? If they're both down on the battlefield at the same time, then you can pretty much trigger the infinite loop and then win the game. Now, as I mentioned, this deck is you can kind of see it's for white and black. You can put it with like the non-color one, right? The colorless guys like Karn if you want. This one I'm using Kaya the Orzhov Usurper, and kind of you can see why, right? Because you take a look at the abilities here, this one is going to trigger damage and gain life, right? So that's going to be important. But again, you can go with any black and white and you'll be fine. Okay, let's see it. Hoping to show you that combo. This combo, you'll pretty much see it in a lot of the gameplay that you'll do if you've used this deck, because it's a very consistent deck. You got cards in here that are going to help you pull those 2 special combos, those cards out for your combo, right? So there's one Curse, and oh, Highborn Vampire is there already. All right, you know what, guys? Let's see if we can cast it. If we can get it out quickly, then this is going to be a very, very short video. So let's see what we can do. Okay, we got 2 of them out. Now all we got to do is trigger some damage. That shouldn't be hard. At this point, what we're going to try to do is protect those 2 supports. Just make sure that they don't get destroyed, because we already got, some good things going. All right, let's take a look. And again, we want to just protect those supports there. Okay, we're moving them. I want to show you guys really quickly Kaya, right? So she's got some good abilities. One thing I like here, and we're going to be able to use this pretty soon, is it's this burial rights ability. It says create a improved burial rights token. Here's what it is. Whenever a card enters your opponent's graveyard from anywhere, it is exiled instead. If that card is a creature, you gain 1 life, your opponent loses 1 life. We're going to try to use that to trigger some damage, because at this point all we need to do is just trigger 1 point of damage, because we have our combo out already. Curse of Vitality's out, Highborn Vampire is out. Kind of like I was saying, this is a deck that is very, very consistent. It gets the cards you want really, really quickly. Alright, so this should get us to the place where we have our first ability ready to play. And guys, with some luck here, we're going to be able to win it on this turn. And it looks like we got lucky. The opponent was able to play a creature. We'll use this, get the improved burial rights, and there it is, guys. There it is. You'll see how this goes. You kind of can tell, right? Like, you got that Highborn Vampire. He triggers the Curse of Vitality. The Curse of Vitality will trigger the Highborn Vampire, which will, in fact, trade. Go just back and forth, right? It'll just trigger each other. And as you can see here, the opponent's taking some damage. This deck is a real good deck. It just consistently does what you need it to do. And really, that's how you build the championship level deck, guys. Right? Make sure the cards in this deck basically help you to launch your super move, right? Your finishing move. It's amazing. This deck just goes crazy. This is truly one of those just unbeatable finishing moves, right? And I kind of like to refer to these finishing moves kind of they're like wrestling moves. I don't know if you guys watch wrestling or whatnot, right? But I grew up in a time where there was a lot of wrestling on TV, right? So you see a guy like Stone Cold, and he hits that Stone Cold Stunner, and the Stone Cold Stunner is that finishing move that as soon as you see him hit that move, the match is over, right? This in the same way, when you build decks, and especially this deck here, what you want to do is set yourself up to hit that finishing move as fast as possible, right? And a lot of the cards that you have, a lot of times just helps you to launch that finishing move. Okay, so this deck, you've seen some fetch cards, you've seen some other cards and abilities here that will just do some damage, right? And the whole point is get what you need, get it as fast as you can, and hit that finisher. And you can see here what happens. It's a very nicely built deck. One of the things I like about this deck also is that, as you can see, your life is going all the way up, right? So that's really good. It helps you to maintain a full health, and while your opponent is just taking damage. And it's unstoppable, so that's great. That's pretty much it, guys. I'll say the final things before I sign off right now. We hope you like this deck. This deck, of course, we build them for you guys, so you guys can see. We want to build a community out here where everybody helps everybody. Okay, so hit that like and subscribe button. That really helps us out. And if you're out there and you're saying, hey, you know what, I got this card, that card, but I don't have those other cards that you may have, put it in the comments, right? Say, hey guys, you know what, I'm missing a couple of cards. It's not those 2 important cards, but hey, can you guys suggest other things that I can play instead? And my hope is we're going to build a community where people are going to help everybody, right? Everybody's going to help everybody, and you can just see, hey, you know what, somebody's going to say, hey, you know what, you don't have that card, that's fine, go use this card instead. All right, so that's what we're trying to build. Again, like and subscribe, that helps us out. Okay, guys, good gaming, everyone.